In this special competitive Pokemon format, defense becomes offense, because every Pokemon, when attacking, uses their highest stat to calculate damage. This incredibly fun custom format is called Full Potential, and that's exactly what it brings out in all of these Pokemon. Their full potential. This is a world where Carbink is more offensively threatening than Great Tusk. And I'm not sure about you, but the first thing I thought of when I heard this concept was, what about Blissey? Doesn't Blissey become the best Pokemon in the game? I mean, Blissey has 255 base HP, which in battle can hit up to 714. Wouldn't that mean it effectively has 714 attack and special attack when using any move? Well, unfortunately, there is one stat that doesn't get used in damage calculation, and that is HP. And to be honest, it makes sense why. Because in a battle, your HP is going to fluctuate a lot. You're not always at full HP. So yes, Blissey could potentially deal damage with a 714 offensive stat, but what if it gets hit down to 10%? Then it's dealing almost no damage, and as a result of that, it would probably be completely unviable. It's a shame because Blissey has a really cool physical move pool with options like Drain Punch and Earthquake. It could use its special defense stat, but as we'll soon find out, there are Pokemon with higher special defense stats than this. What's really interesting about this format is that it isn't only taking into account your highest base stat, it's your highest stat in battle, meaning that boosts and items and effects that enhance your stats impact the damage calculation too. This leads to Pokemon with high special defense being particularly good here because they have access to the item Assault Vest, which increases special defense even further. And as a result of this, one of the best Pokemon in this format is Goodra, which is awesome. This is a Pokemon that is never good. It's always been quite an average Pokemon, but this metagame was designed for Goodra, I think. Goodra, of course, has a monstrous 150 special defense stat. With max EVs and a plus nature, that gets up to 438 special defense. And with an Assault Vest on top of that, you end up with an unbelievable 657 special defense, which is now also the amount that you attack with. And wouldn't you know it, Goodra has an absolutely incredible attacking move pool. In this format, Assault Vest is probably the best item in the game. I mean, not only do you get the defensive benefits of it, but it also gives you an incredible offensive stat, acting kind of like a Choice Specs or Choice Band without the downside. The downside is that you can only select damaging moves, but since special defense can become an offensive stat here, that's hardly a problem. Goodra is absolutely incredible, with a hard-hitting Draco Meteor and perfect complementary coverage in Earthquake. Usually not a very hard-hitting attack, but both attack and special attack are not existing here, and it's calculating based off your astronomical special defense, so you have outstanding mixed attacking potential. Power Whip, perfect for water types. Sludge Bomb for fairy types. The coverage is outstanding, and there's more options in Goodra's move pool than this. Fire coverage, electric coverage. And you may be wondering, well, what about Hisuian Goodra? Wouldn't Hisuian Goodra be even better? This is a Steel Dragon type, a overall better defensive typing. It has Stab Heavy Slam, and just generally seems like a superior version of Goodra. And you would absolutely be correct, because Hisuian Goodra was so powerful that it is banned in this format, which I can't disagree with. This Pokemon, with the same 150 base special defense stat and a superior Steel Dragon typing, and an additional Stab type that is incredibly good and complementary. Yeah, it makes total sense. This Pokemon is a monster in this format. Uniquely so. So what other unique Pokemon have been banned from this format? Too powerful when attacking with their highest stat. You may be surprised to learn that this format turned Diancie into one of the most broken things of all time. Diancie is more famous for its Mega Form, which was a competitive legend back in Gen 6 and 7, but base form Diancie has never been fantastic in competitive singles, except in this format, where defense becomes offense. Base form Diancie has incredible defensive stats, 150 in both its physical and special defense. Now what's insane about Diancie is you can invest fully in physical defense, and now you're attacking with your physical defense stat. And Diancie has this move right here, Diamond Storm, an incredible 100 power rock-type attack with a 50% chance to raise your defense by 2 stages. And of course, if you raise your defense by 2 stages, that's effectively raising all your attacking stats by 2 stages as well, because you attack with your highest stat. So Diamond Storm, you can think of it as basically having a 50% chance to give you a Swords Dance boost. I mean, that is unbelievable. And it applies to special attacks, it applies even to Body Press, which also just attacks based on your defense. And with Trick Room as well, to make up for Diancie's one flaw, the low speed, this Pokemon was crazy. It could ramp absurdly fast and sweep teams if it gets enough of these Diamond Storm boosts. I mean, people even think Iron Moth is problematic with its Fiery Dance 50-50, but this is that on another level, isn't it? And with a much higher attacking stat of base 150 defense boosted with a plus nature. Goodness gracious. Now, even though a lot of this format is based around turning defense into offense, that doesn't mean your highest stat has to be defense to benefit from this incredible mechanic. Pokemon with really high speed can also attack with their speed stats. And yes, if you put a Choice Scarf on a Pokemon, that enhances their speed even further, enhancing their offensive damage output further subsequently. For this reason, one of the most broken Pokemon ever was Hisuian Electrode, a Pokemon known for its incredibly high speed stat but very low offensive stats to balance that out. But in this world, the speed becomes the attack, and with a Choice Scarf on top, if you want to go even crazier, that just makes things even more problematic, doesn't it? You are outrunning just about everything, especially with a Choice Scarf boost, and Volt Switch to pivot is borderline unstoppable unless you have a ground type, and Electrode Hisui is an electric grass type with grass coverage to hit ground types. This Pokemon was insane, not only for incredibly free pivots that hit like a truck, but the overwhelming power of a Stab Leaf Storm. You can even use your physical move pool for the first time ever, since you also calculate speed in physical attacks. Supercell Slam is now an option, as is Explosion, if you want to just get rid of yourself for some huge damage. So in a strange turn of events, Electrode Hisuian is a banned Pokemon. Now, I'm sure that if you're smart, you've figured out that Paradox Pokemon are probably really good here, because Photosynthesis and Quark Drive give you access to the Booster Energy item, which enhances a stat instantly on switch-in. But you probably would not have expected to hear that the most powerful of all of these Paradox Pokemon is Screamtail. Screamtail, who is pretty unexciting in normal gameplay, was game-breaking here, and in fact, it's banned. Booster Energy can be used to raise its special defense even further, and this is an absolute Gen 1 moment because Screamtail has access to the move Amnesia, which raises your special defense by 2, and special defense is used in damage calculation because it's your highest stat. With incredibly high speed as well, Screamtail was actually kind of like Gen 1 Mewtwo come again. High speed, Amnesia, and Amnesia is not only boosting your defensive stat, it's boosting your offensive stat. But this is even more powerful than Gen 1 Mewtwo because it can also use that special defense stat for physical attacks, and you had access to physical Psychic Fangs. And boy does Screamtail have incredible coverage. A format where Ancient Jigglypuff is more powerful than Gen 1 Mewtwo. Sentences never before said. But that's enough about banned Pokemon. What about actually legal Pokemon? Well, one of the best Pokemon in the game here is Cyclizar, who was of course known initially for its overpowered Shed-Tail strategy, but Shed-Tail is banned in this format too. Now, Cyclizar is just being used as a general great utility Pokemon, and one that benefits from its high speed, which gives it actual impressive attacking stats on top of that. With a 121 base speed, you are dealing way more damage than you would otherwise with this Pokemon. And in fact, you can even turn Cyclizar into a sweeper with the move Agility, which raises speed. This is kind of like Dragon Dance or Quiver Dance times a million, because it just raises by 2 stages, which then becomes your offensive stat, and Cyclizar has a pretty cool move pools. Overheat has a fire type coverage option, Draco Meteor, and Double Edge for normal stab too. actually can be an impressive win condition. But mostly it's just used for its utility, the combination of high speed, which translates into high attack and special attack, as well as regenerator for constant healing, and then there's pivoting, hazard removal with rapid spin, and pretty good damage output too. Just are a recipe for success here. It's almost feeling like this format's equivalent of Great Tusk with its spin utility offensive output, and maybe it's even better because of the regenerator value you can accrue. Cyclizar feels like a central Pokemon here for certain. And sometimes the rich do get richer. I've mostly covered novel Pokemon that are not good in other formats, but there are just general good Pokemon that also benefit from this environment, one of them being Iron Treads, who is of course OU, but in this format it's working a bit differently. Because in this format, Iron Defense is now a sweeping move, kind of like how Amnesia is. By raising your defense, you then attack with your defense because it becomes your highest stat. And Iron Treads has access to its special attacking move pool too, since that also uses your highest stat in calculation. So this is a bit like a Double Dance set, since Rapid Spin is not only hazard removal, but a speed increase. You can increase your speed, increase your defense, and then sweep with your defense using your incredible Ground, Steel, Stab combination that is also serving to be mixed coverage. Iron Treads is fantastic for its combination of rapid spin utility and, being an incredible boost sweeper here with the Iron Defense set. With Screamtail banned, the next best offensive Amnesia sweeper in this format would be Uxie, actually, a Pokemon that hasn't been very good for a long time, but thrives here because of its high special defense stat, solid speed stat as well, and access to that incredibly valuable Amnesia, as well as the ability to levitate for some real defensive merit, and a good mixed move pool. This guy has Drain Punch, which complements Psychic very well, as you can hit the Dark types and Steel types trying to come in on your Psychic Stab. And serves as a form of healing too to make up for the Life Orb recoil. Uxie may not have access to the booster energy, but its special defense is absolutely incredible, and it is feeling a little bit like Gen 1 Mewtwo itself, except what if you also had ground immunity? Goodness gracious. Meowscarada is feeling very at home in this format for interesting reasons. I mean, Meowscarada already has a good attack stat of 110, so doesn't 100% need the help, but it is benefiting from that speed stat being higher, so this is an increase to its attack. But what makes Meowscarada good in this format is actually its newfound mixed attacking prowess, because Meowscarada has good special attacks. It has Leaf Storm, which is higher power. It has Dark Pulse. And then pairing that with Knockoff and U-Turn and Protean as well is just going to really enhance Meowscarada's offensive output. It's fast, it attacks on both sides with very good stab types, and it has the ever-valuable Knockoff, U-Turn, and Sucker Punch for all of their incredible traits, item removal, priority, and pivoting. Meowscarada feels like a fantastic all-in-one offensive threat here. I'm sure a lot of you have probably had the thought already. If boosting stats with an item like Assault Vest is so good, then what about Eviolite, the item that boosts the defensive stats of a not fully evolved Pokemon? And you would absolutely be right. Eviolite is incredible in this format, and the chief abuser would be Dusclops. Dusclops is, of course, not fully evolved. It evolves to Dusknoir, but it has access to the Eviolite item, allowing it for far superior bulk. It has incredible defensive stats for a not fully evolved Pokemon, and when they are boosted further by the Eviolite, it achieves astronomical levels, which is already something with some competitive merit, but in this format it feels even more enhanced because you get to attack with your massive physical defense stat. And Dusclops, very conveniently, has access to Trick Room to make up for its low speed and immediately start posing a threat. Dusclops has a good physical move pool with Poltergeist for incredible ghost physical stab. Brick Break for fighting coverage, not the best, but it's something, and even Leech Life for bug coverage that also heals you for 50% of the damage dealt. Trick Room Dusclops is actually extremely good here, and I think that's a lot of fun, using Dusclops as a physical wall breaker. What a concept. And probably my personal favorite glow-up in this format would be for Regice, because I'm a big Regice fan. Such a fun Pokemon to use in the Gen 3 OU metagame, but it's never been good since then. I mean, it has such an uphill battle being a defensively oriented ice type. But this format fixes Regice by turning that defense into offense. With an Assault Vest and an unbelievable 200 base special defense, Regice has incredible special bulk and damage output at the same time. And for the first time ever, it can actually use its physical move pool. It only has 50 base attack, but now options like Earthquake and Hammer Arm and even Ice Spinner for physical ice stab are available to you, and they are incredible. Regice is not as popular as something like Goodra, because Goodra has superior defensive typing and is not as vulnerable to Stealth Rock, but I think Regice is absolutely viable still, because the sheer amount of special defense it has is unbelievable. I mean, even without Assault Vest, you're hitting 548 special defense. Multiply that by 1.5, and you're at 822 special defense, which can be used for both physical and special attacks now. Just an incredible wall breaker that may even synergize with many of the powerful Trick Room setters here, like a Trick Room Dusclops. They probably go very well together. One of the most critically acclaimed insects in history would be a Araquanid, very well made insect with a water bubble around its head for protection. Actually a good Pokemon in OU because of its sticky web access, but in this format it's feeling very different. It's another Assault Vest sweeper. It's a common theme here, isn't it, with Assault Vest being such an S-tier item. Araquanid was designed with low offensive stats on purpose because of how powerful its ability Water Bubble is, granting 2x power to water damage and a burn immunity and fire resistance, all in one. It's one of the most powerful abilities in the game, actually, but it's reined in by the fact that your offensive stats are very low. But now they're not. Now you have a 399 special defense stat, boosted further by Assault Vest, and double water damage, and Hydro Pump's power level is through the roof as a result. Plus you can use mixed attacking stats. Araquanid's actually incredibly powerful here. It's kept at bay by its low speed and terrible typing, but still, the water bubble off the back of an actual offensive stat is incredibly frightening, truly. And Cloyster is also one of the strongest offensive threats in this metagame, but not for the reasons you might think. Many forget that Cloyster has an outstanding physical defense stat of base 180, and it can use this as its offensive attacking stat. You're not using Shell Smash here, why lower your defense further? Using Iron Defense as your sweeping option, and my gosh, is Cloyster a frightening one with its ever-valuable Icicle Spear and Rock Blast and the bulk of a champion, tanking hits like nothing. This is so interesting to see, because in essence you're kind of acting like a Shell Smash set anyways, since Shell Smash is a boost that raises both attack and special attack. So you're using much of the same options, but it's just off the back of Iron Defense, and you are so much better at tanking hits. It's the same but different. You're slow, bulky, and just as offensively threatening as with the Shell Smash boost, but without the detriment of those debuffs. A very interesting offensive threat here. And of course, much better than it is in any other Gen 9 format. And if you're somebody like me that misses the days when Bisharp was an OU viable Pokemon and got replaced by the more dishonorable King Gambit, well, in full potential, Bisharp is even better than King Gambit because it gets access to that incredible Eviolite boost, allowing it to achieve bulk that King Gambit cannot achieve. Now, it may only have 100 base defense, but the Eviolite boost certainly makes up for that, and its move pool and access to Iron Defense is also really outstanding here. Iron Defense, of course, increasing your damage output further, with Sucker Punch and actually mixed attacking options too with Dark Pulse, which is kind of absurd to see. Bisharp is really incredible. It's, I guess, the King Gambit of this format, funnily enough, outdoing its broken evolution. And another Pokemon that feels like it was kind of made for this format is Pecharunt, a Pokemon that's already really good off the back of its incredible 160 base defense, which allows it to check threats in OU, like Zamazenta and Ogerpon Wellspring, while also being a great pivot that can spread Toxic with its poison spreading Malignant Chain ability. And in this format, that defense turns into an offensive stat, and it's even stronger with its fantastic stab types. Poltergeist, Malignant Chain, which is such a broken attack, with a 50% chance to apply Toxic Poison. Such a good Pokemon already, becoming even better feels illegal almost, but it's the truth we must accept. It's the unfortunate truth of life. I need to show you what this format looks like in action, because it's crazy. Here we are, and even in the team preview, you'll notice that this meta is very different to any other meta I've seen. Mousehold there, I can only imagine, is incredibly frightening. It's a high-speed Pokemon with Technician, Population Bomb, and all that. You'll notice also that Basculegion is here. I think Last Respects is legal, even though it's a broken attack, just because the power level's so high that it feels okay. There's also no Terra, which is notable. We got some Raikou. I haven't seen Raikou in years. We got Uxie, of course, Sylveon. Why don't we just get into it? Why don't we just see how this goes? It's a Raikou on a Rabombi. And of course you can agility sweep in this damn game. You can agility sweep. And that extreme speed is very hard hitting off the high speed stat, allowing Raikou for the first time ever to be a mixed threat. I don't think I've ever seen. Thunder is coming down. Iron Boulder luckily equipped with a focus sash, but it gets full parried by the Thunder Paralysis. Raikou is making a thunderous start to this game. There's no doubt about that. Basculegion comes in to get an Aqua Jet KO, but you'll notice agility sweeping appears to be a pretty popular offensive strategy. Goodness gracious me. Talonflame has been eliminated very quickly. Pelipper's Rain is certainly not helping the situation. Last Respect is starting to come down from Basculegion. Here comes Cloyster. Living Last Respects because it's fully invested in defense, mind you. It's using defense as its attacking stat. I have never seen... I mean, good is taking 22% from the infamous Last Respects. It is just shrugging off one of the strongest attacks in history. Holy moly, is doing... How much was I showed? Goodness. In comes Sylveon. Stomaching a knockoff, probably going to KO back with, looks like Weather Ball, but Uxie is, of course, fully invested in special defense. Sylveon can use quick attack as mixed coverage. How delightful. Can Pelipper stop this Iron Treads? I'm not sure. No, it is carrying Volt Switch, and it one-shots Pelipper. And I do believe Mousehold is going to make quick work of this Sylveon. Barring some nonsense with Population Bomb missing or something. No, that's going to be it. I mean, goodness, only 18 turns. Just everything's invested in defense, mind you, or speed. Defense or speed. Zero attack investment, and yet it's one of the fastest paced, most aggressive metagames ever. I think by definition, it has to be that way, because by being a stally Pokemon, you are incentivized to run attacks, and therefore you're an aggro Pokemon. Is there even stall in this metagame? I think it's impossible. I think it's not possible. Overall, I think that this is an incredibly cool idea for a custom metagame. Yes, the power level is very high here, but it sort of balances out, and the things that rise to the top are so interesting. Even Pokemon that you're familiar with are being used in really different ways here. It allows Pokemon to use attacking options that they otherwise never would, especially Pokemon with good physical attacks that just have low attack and never use them. I think it's so interesting to finally be able to dip into those move pools that just don't get used otherwise, and also shed a spotlight onto Pokemon like Goodra that don't really have a home anywhere and thrive in this particular meta because of the way stats work here. The metagame is really aggressive by definition. Everything is hitting like a truck, and games are usually quick. It's really cool. It's really fun. This is a lesser known custom metagame, not popular enough to have its own ladder all the time. It currently has a temporary ladder during July, so play it while you can. Would recommend it. It's very cool, and it's unexplored too. You can be creative here. Come up with your own ideas, because this is a new frontier, new uncharted territory. Who is your favorite Pokemon to use in this metagame? So far mine would be Regice, but what about you folks? Let me know down below in the comments, and thank you for watching.